We're back for another installment of Married at First Sight. And you know what? I don't know why I continue doing this because I watch the show week to week, and every episode, I think, won't they just throw the whole show away? Because none of these people like each other. They do not like each other at all. And the two that act like they like each other, they're just trauma bonding. And how long will that last? Because you can only trauma bond for so long before you start coming at each other and creating more traumas. I'm talking about Nicole and Wussy Chris. Chris, who cried like a big O when they brought him in, like Billy Ray Valentine and Trading Places. When we brought you in here, you were crying like a big O. He was crying, boo-hoo crying. And guess what, Chris? You can cry, but I'll never forget that you cried about your dogs. And speaking of dogs, the two of them decided to not do like what's her name, Alexis and Justin last season. They said, Lifetime said, we will not have another Maya and Newton situation. So y'all are going to introduce these dogs the right way. But before they introduced the dogs, Nicole went over to Chris's apartment, his tiny apartment with his ginormous dogs. Now, mind you, I am a dog lover. I have a dog sitting right here who will probably start whining while I'm filming this video. But one thing, they live in a tiny apartment, and these dogs are at least 50 pounds each. And since Chris mentioned that he doesn't shower, he doesn't wash clothes but once a month, and I don't think he showers that often. I'm guessing his apartment stinks. Because you know how I know? I used to dog sit, and I was always hyper conscious about how my apartment smelled with dogs, and I was constantly cleaning. But it's still going to be a slight stench of dog if you have a dog in your house. So imagine having two big dogs that shed and they lay all over the bed. Like, that's one thing I never allowed, was dogs in my bed, because I'm just like that. That's kind of like the black way, but I'm not going to even say that's the black way, because I know black people who sleep with their dogs. Because I once turned away a guy because we were doing good, because we did a meet and greet. I said, well, where's the dog sleeping? Oh, he sleeps with me. Okay, nice to meet you. So it's not to say that's a black thing, that only black people don't sleep with dogs. But that's like the common thing. Black people believe dogs belong outside. But these dogs are all over the furniture, humping. And Nicole made that comment like, oh, he must have seen Chris. Well, if that's what he's seen at Chris, I was thinking, break me off, show what you got. I don't want no 1 minute man. Like, that's not a good sign if he is mimicking Chris. But she seemed satisfied because she said they consummated the relationship. All right, moving on. We're not gonna move on from them just yet. So Chris yet again made a dumb decision. He is just not a solutions guy. He's not a logistics guy, clearly. So they were talking about what they're going to do after the process, the experiment is over. They said that, hey, we're going to both sign 9-month leases. So, basically we won't be homeless. But that's just stupid. You could either A, move in together immediately if you feel like you're going to say yes on decision day. Find a place. Start looking for a place. Be proactive now. Start looking at the halfway point to the experiment if you feel like it's going well. Start looking for a new apartment, or sign a month-to-month lease, or get an Airbnb. Do something, but why sign a whole 9 months? So that's two different payments of rent in two different locations, and essentially you're trying to come together, so why waste that money? But that's them. And then Nicole is like pulling back, trying to be borderline submissive, but we know that's not her personality. And she's like, okay, I'll just go with it. Yeah, whatever. No, you need to let it be known what you want. And Chris is like, I realize I've been a doormat in the past, but I'm putting my foot down on this one. Like, you're gonna fall on the sword for that? Okay, Chris. Next up, I believe it's me, Big Daddy King. Okay, so who do we want to go to next? Let's go to Iris and Jasmine. So they go to Jasmine's house, which is really her parents' house, and they see all of she shows him all of her pageant stuff. Now, mind you, okay, she lives with her parents. Clearly, I think she's in transition. I can relate. I'm in transition too. I'm here helping out my mom. I moved back to help out, sold my place, had a place, but sold it. So I'm back here in transition, kind of just chilling, regrouping, and trying to, just like go with the flow. So I get that whole transition thing, but she has like a dog and 9 puppies. And so, how did the number go down? Because my understanding was she had 4 dogs and 9 puppies, which meant 13. But now she says just her main dog and the 9 puppies left. So I don't understand the math, Jasmine. But the thing that was really funny to me and just ultimately the ultimate shade is when she put on her crown for Iris. He said she looked like a black Game of Thrones character. That's not a compliment. That is not a compliment. That was shade. And that's what he does. He like throws little digs in there. I've noticed that. Like I can always see shade. I know when shade. I know shade. Okay, because I don't really throw shade, but I recognize shade. Shade recognize shade. But so Iris, picked up the puppy, and he was like, "Oh, this puppy's cute," but he don't want 9 of them in his house. And she's like, "Oh, that makes me more attractive." Stop it. Just stop it, Jasmine. Don't allow any little thing to make you want him. His Abe looking offspring, so Abe Lincoln looking offspring. He looks like he would be, if they were casting a slave movie, he looks like he'd be like a slave. Yeah, so Massa gonna get them dogs on us. Cause he said like, he was terrified of dogs because a dog scratched his head at his grandmother's house. And I noticed so many people have dog trauma stories that make them not like dogs, period. But dogs are loving creatures. And this whole episode seems to be about dogs. So, and Iris is obviously a dog. So they meet with Pastor Cal. Long story short, Iris says to Pastor Cal, "Well, she's really, really, really attracted to me." And then at that point, I'm like, Jasmine, what you gonna say about that? And she was like, "I'm not his type." Well, if I'm not your type and I know you're not attracted to me, deuces, peace, I'm out. Because I don't care what Pastor Cal says. It makes sense. Yes, everything Pastor Cal makes sense. But if there is no baseline attraction from the man's point of view, it's a wrap. And Iris is like talking about, with any other girl, I would have been, have an R&B video. I was like, ugh. And that only made me think of, I wonder if she could tell that I'm hard right now. See, I told you my dog was gonna start whining. No, you gotta stay. But from baby when we're grinding, I get so excited. That's all I thought about. But Aris thinks he's hotter than he really is. And I hate that Jasmine is feeding into that. Because I guess because I'm a little bit on the sarcastic, cynical side of things, that I would not allow him to know how I feel, even if I really was into him, knowing that he's not into her. But you know what? Next up, speaking of not being into each other, we could go anywhere. We could go Gina and Clint, or we can go Mac and Dom, or we could go Kirsten and Shaquille. Who do we want to go to? Let's go Kirsten and Shaquille. So they go to Kirsten's apartment. It's barren. Kirsten's apartment looks like a low performing Airbnb. How do I know? Because I've seen low performing Airbnbs. They have the Airbnbs with all the art on the wall and like nice throw pillows. And then they have Airbnbs like Kirsten's house that just have a sofa and a bed in the bedroom, but nothing else. So it was just weird. Like, her apartment is as dry and flat as she is. It had no dimension, just like she has. Like, I just don't believe that she has a master's. A master's of what? We don't know what she has a master's in. I mean, she could have a master's. Some people can take great tests and just have nothing in between their brains. Like, she is just lacking personality, and she's mean to him. And so, they go through her apartment, and Um, he's like, it looks like a model home. No. FYI, I go to model homes all the time because I film model homes for my other channel, Interior Grind. Like and subscribe. I film model homes, and I've actually posted some model home commentary on this channel. That's not a model home. Okay, that is, like I said, a underperforming or low performing Airbnb. It is horrible. And then her closet was full of stuff. So I'm guessing she just moved in, threw her clothes in the closet, and just went to shoot the show. And then they went on honeymoon. Now she's back. It was just nothing there. Nothing at all. And then, Pastor Cal comes along for them. And she basically says, there's no chemistry here. And he's like, well, we cuddle basically. I kiss her forehead. Like, that's still not chemistry. She was probably cringing at your lips on her forehead. Like, as soon as you turned away, she was probably like, she doesn't like you, Shaquille, and I think you know that. I hope you know that. But she doesn't like you, and it will never be. Like, Shaquille, just give it up. Like I said last video, give it up, turn it loose. She doesn't like you, and she's not worth it. Like you. She doesn't like your jokes. She's flat. She's toast. She's like a cracker. She's like a communion cracker. She's boring. She has no flavor. You at least design your bow ties. I mean, you have some flavor. Obviously, you're trying to sell the bow ties. You're a professor. I mean, you have things going for you. Go get you a nice man or woman. that was shade. Go get you a nice woman who will appreciate what you have to offer, Shaquille. That girl is boring, and she thinks she's hotter than she is too. And I really think that they should have matched Jasmine and Iris together. However, that would have been like watching paint dry, both of them interacting. Or maybe it might have been a R&B video. Maybe had they gotten together, it would have been an R&B video. But it doesn't seem like they ever interacted, had any sort of chemistry. So maybe not. But like moving on to Gina and Clint. Is it me, or did Gina's dog look like Clint? Like they kind of looked alike. They were like doppelgangers. And at first I thought, because it seemed like Clint came to Gina's apartment with her dog. Did I view that wrong? But so then Gina decides she doesn't want to leave her apartment. And she doesn't want to move into the shared space, and that's like a big deal. And Clint, I was actually on his side on this one. He was like, you know what? This is the process I signed up for, and I'm committed to it, and I'm committed to you. I think we need to move in together. So then, she didn't want to move in. She, she's just so busy. She's so ready to get back to the salon. And I saw somewhere that her salon is called Slay Bay. I actually went to the page, and they actually do good color. They do good color, do balayage. They do good color. They do a lot of extensions too, which I think is so funny that white salons do extensions. They used to be really like, I mean, mind you, I know they've been wearing extensions as long as black people have, but that's just kind of what they specialize in. And she has a nice logo. I'm shocked she's not wearing like Slay Bay t-shirts. But back to the show. So, they get with Pastor Cal, and Pastor Cal's basically saying, well, what you want to do? I mean, because, all this stuff is minute. Like he always says things are minutia. Like Pastor Cal, I'm sure you're married to someone who was your type. So that wasn't your concern. Chemistry checks are real. You got to have chemistry in order for a relationship to succeed. In order for you to even grow into love, there has to be some level of chemistry. And these two don't have it. And I really think Gina will never let it go that he said he wanted a slim, athletic woman. I am athletic, because she would not let it go. I go to the gym. I do HIIT classes. I do this. But you still are a little loose body fluffy. I mean, I'm athletic too, Gina. I go to the gym, but let's just be clear. I am fluffy. I go to the gym at least 4 times a week. I go to the gym more than my so-called fit-looking friends. It's your diet, Gina. It's your diet. If you really are working out, like you said, because I know it's my diet, and also because I'm a woman of a certain age and hormones and whatever, and what used to work doesn't work anymore. But diet is pretty much 80% everything. So if you're doing HIIT classes and you're not even gaining muscle tone, at least I gain muscle tone. What are you doing, Gina? So stop fronting, get over it, or shit, or get off the pot. And the funny thing is that Pastor Cal is asking them already early in the game, his first meeting with them, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to continue on? So like he said that to Gina and Clint, and then on to the next people. He said it, and we'll get there. Dom and Mac. They obviously don't like each other. Dom more so coming from her. Although on the after show, Dom was basically like dropping or so-called spilling tea. I don't know if I believed it or not. Like, she didn't look like she was lying. And how about looks? I mean, I know everybody loves her, and I know it's rude to say on YouTube, but her face irritates me. And I'm sure my face irritates many people too. But her face, since I'm talking, irritates me. Like, everything about her face irritates me. Her blank stare, her nose, her chin, that silly grin. But for her, it's like it's my way or the highway. She wants him to be all these things. And mind you, you're not adventurous like I thought. Girl, you were only with him for a week. You don't know. And to me, adventure doesn't have to be something totally physical. Like I always say, and my friend makes fun of me, I'm adventurous, but I'm more like what's behind that door adventurous versus jumping out of a plane adventurous. Yeah, I got on a camel. I go hiking, but I'll go on an adventure in a heartbeat. But as far as jumping out of a plane and stuff like that, that's not my thing. Like, I don't like free falling. Never have. I never like roller coasters. Like, I've been on them, but I just never I don't like that feeling of my stomach dropping. Maybe that's Mac's thing too. But it just seemed like he was shut down. He was like, whatever. And she was like, whatever, bro. Like, you're calling it, like, you're 25. If you are calling people bro, you have got to be under 30 and not ready for marriage. Like, yeah, bro, you gonna let me talk, bro? You've talked enough. You've talked about, and the funny thing is, she was like, I only want positive vibes. Well, you know that all the complaining that you do, that's not necessarily positive, Dom. Dom just should not be on the show. But again, her mother, Mama Bear, submitted her for the show. So there's that. So ultimately, it seems as though Dom is going to be packing her boxes and leaving because, Pastor Cal asked, what do you want to do? She's like, I'm just really over it right now. Like, open your mouth and talk. Open your mouth and talk. You have all those teeth. You're always grinning, but when it comes to talking, you're like, Dom is so annoying. And she's dry as toast, just like Kirsten. And they were both on the after show trying to act like they had personality, but it didn't show through. But I don't know. Married at First Sight. I'm just watching it just to be watching, and I'm just talking just to be talking. So drop it in the comments and tell me what you think or thought about the show last night. Like and subscribe and tell a friend, tell a friend.